on January 15th, 2020.
My son called me and asked me to go give Scotty a ride.
Which son?
Kareem.
Abdul Jr.?
Yes.
In a jaw-dropping betrayal that shocked the entire hip-hop world, Jacksonville rapper Ksoo has been sentenced for murder. But what shook fans even more was discovering the key witness that sealed his fate was his own father. That's right, Abdul Robinson Sr., the man who raised him, testified against his own son in court, believing it was the right thing to do. But as the dust settles, many are calling it the worst mistake of his life, one that has now destroyed both of their futures. Please do not forget to like this video, share and subscribe to this channel if you want more updates like this. Thank you. Now, let's get back into the video. What happens when blood turns cold? When the man who gave you life becomes the reason you lose it all. This isn't just another courtroom drama. It's a Greek tragedy straight out of the hip-hop world, with loyalty, betrayal, family, and fame all crashing into one explosive story. The streets of Jacksonville have birthed legends, but they've also been soaked in silence, bullets, and secrets. Ksoo, real name Hakeem Robinson, was on the rise, ready to carve his name deep into the rap game. But now he's behind bars for life, not just because of the evidence, not just because of the system, but because his own father took the stand and pointed at him. The story starts like many others in the dangerous world of street rap. Rivalries, beefs, and bodies dropping. In 2020, Charles Lil Buck McCormick Jr. was murdered in broad daylight, and the streets whispered that Ksoo was behind it. It wasn't long before the feds moved in, gathering surveillance, stacking charges, and painting a grim picture of a young man knee-deep in Jacksonville's deadliest beef. But what no one expected was that the prosecution would bring a father into the witness stand to testify against his own son, Abdul Robinson Sr., not just Ksoo's dad, but also someone entangled in criminal allegations himself, was facing serious time. Instead of going down alone, he made a decision that would shock the world. He agreed to cooperate with prosecutors and point the finger at his own flesh and blood. That moment will be remembered as one of the most cold-blooded betrayals in modern rap history. On the stand, Robinson Sr. said he only did it to protect his younger children and get back home to them. He cried, shook, and claimed that it was the hardest decision of his life. But let's be real, it was the dumbest move he ever made. Because what kind of father turns on his own son in open court in front of cameras, in front of the world? What kind of man lets the state use his testimony as a weapon to bury his child? No matter how he spins it, whether it was health issues, regret, fear, or desperation, it doesn't change the fact that Ksoo is now sentenced to life, and he was sentenced on the back of his father's words. What's worse is that the plea deal Robinson Sr. took didn't even guarantee his freedom. He still faces up to 20 years behind bars. So in the end, he snitched on his son and didn't even save himself. The streets are watching. The hip-hop world is talking. And the verdict is in. This was a lose-lose situation that could have been avoided if loyalty had meant more than leverage. Let's rewind this a little. Before all this, Ksoo was making noise. His music was street certified, and he wasn't afraid to talk his talk. But as is the case with many young rappers, he had one foot in the booth and one foot in the field. His lyrics, his visuals, and his affiliations all screamed realness, but they also brought heat. The police were paying attention. Prosecutors were stacking charges, and surveillance cameras were rolling. But all that evidence still left enough room for doubt, until his own father stepped up and erased that doubt. In court, the moment Abdul Robinson Sr. identified Ksoo in surveillance footage was when the case shifted. Jurors gasped. The prosecution smiled. The defense looked stunned. And Ksoo? He sat there stone-faced, likely wondering what had just happened. Imagine the man who once taught you to walk, now walking you into a cell. Imagine looking into the eyes of your father and seeing your own destruction. It's Shakespearean. It's biblical. But most of all, it's tragic. And while mainstream media is painting Robinson Sr. as a man torn between fatherhood and accountability, the culture isn't buying it. Social media has exploded with reactions, everything from shock and heartbreak to rage and disgust. He could have stayed silent. He could have let the lawyers fight it. He could have been a father, but he chose the other route, and now the legacy of both men is forever tainted. What's even more painful is how unnecessary this all feels. Abdul Robinson Sr. was charged with being an accessory, accused of helping Ksoo and his cousin burn clothes and escape after the hit. But instead of facing trial like a man, he buckled under pressure. And sure, the courtroom tears might have swayed a few hearts. But to the streets, that's dry snitching wrapped in emotion. His excuses, that he did it to be present for his younger kids, don't add up when you realize the cost was another son's life. This isn't just a father turning on a son. It's the collapse of a whole dynasty. Think about it. Ksoo's rap career is done. His life is over. His name, forever tied to betrayal. And his father? He's become the very thing most feared in the streets. A rat. Not even a regular rat, but a father rat. Something unheard of in the code of the street. Hip-hop has seen betrayal before. Artists snitching, managers flipping, friends switching. But this is next level. This hits deep. This is a case study in how fame, fear, and family can tear a man apart. It raises questions about loyalty, survival, and how far someone will go to save themselves, even if it means sacrificing the one person who looked up to them the most. And now that the sentence is in, all eyes are on what comes next. Ksoo's legal team may try appeals, but with the strength of that testimony, it's an uphill battle. Meanwhile, the streets of Jacksonville are buzzing. Is there still loyalty out there? Can trust ever be rebuilt when fathers are pointing fingers at their sons? Fans are also debating whether Ksoo should have seen it coming. Was there already tension between him and his dad? Were there signs that Robinson Sr. was getting soft under pressure? Or was this truly a blindside, a knife to the back from someone who was supposed to protect him? No matter how you slice it, the verdict is in. Ksoo is gone. And it wasn't just the police that took him. It wasn't just the feds. It wasn't even just the evidence. It was the words of a man who once held him as a baby, now holding him down in shackles. In the end, this is more than just another rapper gone to prison. It's a story about family, broken bonds, and the death of trust. Ksoo was betrayed by the one person who was supposed to ride for him no matter what. The father who should have been his shield became his sword. And now, as both men prepare to live out the rest of their days behind bars, the rest of us are left to wonder, was it worth it? Was 20 years of freedom for one man worth a life sentence for his son? Was a plea deal worth the destruction of a bloodline? Was a courtroom confession worth the eternal judgment from the culture?